Schools, Columbus Wholesale Radio, CBS Outdoor, Clear Channel, Bell Media, Carmike Cinemas, and the hundreds of volunteers. You did it. Thank you so much. And thank you all for venturing out on this very cold morning, because of you, the dream in Columbus lives and will live onward. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Jane. You know, every now and then there's a person who changes the course of history, and we're here to celebrate one today, and we also happen to have one with us on the stage. Our next speaker is someone who bankrupted the Ku Klux Klan, who then turned around and bankrupted the Aryan Nation. He taught us as a nation how to use our justice system to fight hate groups and to prevent domestic terrorism. He's a founder and general counsel of the Southern Law Poverty Center. He is one of those who has his hand firmly on the arc of history, bending it towards justice. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give a loud Columbus welcome to Mr. Morris Dees.
Thank you very much. I'll take my notes down on this podium so they wouldn't blow away. But when I'm speaking to my friends in Columbus, Georgia, I just came from Alabama, the only notes I need is the beautiful faces, especially of the children who are gathered here today. We came to honor a great American hero and what he means to this nation in the past and in the future, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. A man who had to face many of his contemporaries who had little vision. A man who had to face politicians with little backbone. And finally, he faced a terrorist with no conscience. And when he was in Memphis, Tennessee on that fateful day, he wasn't there to integrate anything in Memphis. He was there on behalf of the least among us, the garbage workers who were making less than $1 a day, not enough to feed their families. And he made a famous speech, a speech that I'm sure you know about, the night before that assassin took his life. He stood before a congregation and he said, "I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land." He said, "I might not get there with you, but you will, and it's a great promised land." And I think most of you here know, especially our Reverend who gave us the great benediction, that he was talking about another group of slaves in our history, the Jews who were slaves in Egypt, and after they were freed, they headed towards what they wanted to see and wanted to be their promised land. Dr. Martin Luther King would certainly be proud today of many accomplishments of the American civil rights movement. I think sitting in Washington, D.C. is that greatest accomplishment of President Barack Obama. And I think Dr. King would be equally proud of many accomplishments on the laws, public accommodations, voting rights, and so many more things. But I think he would also be concerned today. We had our Supreme Court recently issue an opinion in a case out of Alabama, one of the worst states of violating the voting rights, an opinion that gutted the Voting Rights Act that was passed after the Selma to Montgomery March in 1965. I think Dr. King would be concerned that we have a nation of prosperity and riches, but millions do not have health care, and the program, Obama health care program, is being fought tooth and toenail by those who do not want to share the wealth of this nation with the poorest among us. I think Dr. King would also be upset, and he would be leading the march for the millions of immigrants in this nation who contribute so much to the prosperity of our country, but do not have the right to be citizens or vote. He would be leading that march, and I can mention so many more. In 1963, Dr. King led the Poor People's March in Washington, D.C., and he said that as part of that talk, he said that in America there are lonely islands of poverty in the great sea